Hi, folks. It's your Uncle Larry. Larry Talks again on YouTube. Today is June 24th, 2017, and we're going to do something different today. Today is Feedback Day. I've gotten emails from you, and I'm going to read them back to you and try and give some response. The idea here being that this is about you and getting some dialogue going. So if you want to respond, my email is Larry, Larry, dot Moorman, Moorman, at AOL.com if you want to respond to any of this. So I've got three responses here. One I could do a whole program on, so I'm going to do it last because I gotta limit myself. All right. This is from Gaffer. Now, of course, a name like this, probably not his real name, but anyway. Hello. I saw your videos on YouTube and on your channel, Eric Lassard, Older Men. Just thought I would mention my family doesn't know anything about this, so I have to keep it secret, so I hide the messages. Meeting with older men is around 70 years old. I love older men, and he loves younger men too. I don't want a relationship, and I don't think he does either. He's married, and I feel bad, but using a condom, even though I was tempted to bareback, but I was scared of STDs. Wow. I think it was overrated looking at porn. I have always wanted to be with an older man, and I said to him, I don't, but he is very understanding. His wife has Alzheimer's, so I think he just wants to keeping him with the things he needs. But you are one handsome man, thank you. Hopefully you will reply. So here's my reply, and keep it anonymous. Wow, you've raised a lot of issues there. I think what this comment shows is the difference between heterosexual and homosexual relationships. That men want different things than hetero. I mean, the fact that you don't get people pregnant, you don't raise children automatically in a homosexual relationship. Homosexual relationships, and this is what the Greeks said, and I totally agree with them. In a way, that the homosexual relationship is superior because it's pure love. There's nothing else but love. You two guys like each other. You like to spend time with each other. That's what it's all about. If you have safe sex, and God, I got a whole program. If you want to see my program on sex, I give you the whole history of my life and why I survived through AIDS and all. And that is on Vimeo. Basically, I would say oral sex is safe. If you're going to have anal sex, you've got to use a condom. You must use a condom. Why? Because you can get a fatal. And it's not a VD, but you can die from anal sex. You can get E. coli, and how do I know I got it? And from just having anal sex, and that's not a VD, but it will kill you. So you got to use a condom if you're doing anal sex, even if it's with a lover that you know. Because I got E. coli from not using a condom years and years and years ago, so 30 years ago. But that's why I recommend using a condom. Aside from that, it's pretty well proven today that AIDS is communicated through not using a condom, and their oral sex is, and there's no recorded cases of, of course, there's all kinds of EDs you can get through oral sex, the biggest one being what we call gonorrhea or clap. And there's been some resurgence of the horrible disease that Churchill's father died of, syphilis, but that's pretty rare. Generally, oral sex is safe. But homosexuality is generally not about sex. It's about love. It's about people being attracted to each other and wanting to be with each other. And so that's the issue. That's what you have to decide. And it sounds like what you want with this man is a relationship of love. And all the rest of it just isn't important. So here's a second comment. Thanks for getting in touch with me to make your acquaintance. I am rather new to this, and I hope that you see the attached picture. I really value my privacy, so I'm not giving his name. I live a heterosexual life and had a female partner who cared deeply, but the relationship has ended. Nobody is aware of my hidden desires now. God, I get that so commonly. That people say, "Oh God," it's kind of sad when you have your whole emotional life in the closet. I just think that's very sad. Of course, after I retired, I didn't care, but I understand the need to do that for some people. I love the company of older men, and thought of being intimate with a hairy senior man is overwhelming and sets the heart racing. I'm now at that point where in recent years I have stepped over the line and originally away from home with a man who understood my inexperience, as it happened. A man in Australia who I became close to with the benefit of Skype traveled to London to take in some dinner and meet with me. It was a wonderful experience. We remained very close, but both realized we cannot, in terms of geography, meeting us be likely rare. So what can I say about that? Again, it proves my point that what men are seeking is love, not sex. I mean, that the primary thing is this guy is drawn to this other man, and that's what I wanted to say about romance. People say, I'm in love with you. How can you be in love with me? You don't even know me. But you have the feeling of wanting to be of that attraction. That's fine. Martin Buber called that an I-thou experience, where you just feel totally connected. And it is a feeling, and that's a romantic feeling. But it has nothing to do with sex. It has nothing to do with reality, but it has to do with your own connection. Here's my question, the crucial question. Is that feeling mutual? If it's mutual, then you have what you think of as romance. It's got to be mutual. And all these people who say, I want to be in love, and I'm looking, the first thing they say is, I'm looking for a lifetime partner. Well, who isn't? But if that's your first primary thing, I don't want to talk to you, because it's not practical. And I'm not going to jump into that when I don't know anything about you. So I think that's just so premature, that when you meet somebody, you want to meet them and you want to find out who they are, and then you can fall in love. You might have the feeling. It's very common to have that feeling of attraction. Of course, that's normal for everybody. The attraction is really important. I have to say this. I don't have sex with people I'm not attracted to. Some people do, but I don't. And I don't think most people. I think most people would agree with that. You don't want to have sex. But here's the mistake we make. We say, I'm attracted, therefore he wants to have sex with me. No, maybe he doesn't. I mean, or she or whoever. So it's got to, mutuality is really, 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 really important for me, but I think for everybody. And this is where we step out of line, is that one person may feel stronger than the other or different from the other. I think we need to allow ourselves to get to know somebody before we can say we're in love. That's just my opinion, of course. But I think in the stories that I've just read to you, here are people who are attracted, they're having sex, they really like each other. So what should happen? Well, maybe you should get to know each other, continue to get to know each other and see that's my advice. Continue to know each other and see what happens. I have friends, well, I'm not having much sex lately, but Actually, online I have a lot of sex online. It's just sex. It's like eating dinner. I don't take it seriously. But and that's what I think our problem, human beings' problems are. They take sex so seriously. Uh, I think we should take it as seriously as having dinner. But to say that love goes with sex, I think that's crazy. I really do think that's crazy. As one woman once said to me, I keep confusing my heart with my clit. And we might say the same thing for men. I keep confusing my dick with my heart. They're not the same thing. And what's my advice about the heart? Matters of the heart take time. Just remember, that's my motto. Matters of the heart take time. You don't fall in love online overnight or from seeing a picture. You might say, I feel romantic about that person, but that doesn't mean anything. It means you have a feeling. Is that the next question has to be, is it mutual? And you have to respect the feeling of the other person. Usually the other person will say, well, I don't know you. Give me a chance to know you. Or I'm not interested. This is the third comment. Gee, yeah. This is the most important one. This guy asked me, his name was Anwar Karzoon. I don't know where he's from. But anyway, he asked me, he said, is sex, homosexuality something that people are born with? Is it inborn? And then my first response to him was to say, well, the Romans and Greeks didn't even have a word for it. The word heterosexual in Greek meant someone who was from the outside, hetero outside, sexual outside our group. They didn't have a word for homosexual, although they practiced homosexuality. Why? Because the Greek idea, and this is called deconstruction, when we look back at the past, we impose our stuff on them. The Greeks had no concept of homosexuality, yet they banged each other all the time. Older men. Here's one line to kind of understand the Greek point of view. This father says to his son, well, you're not in love with your teacher? Well, then how can you learn anything? You have to, if you're not interested in your teacher, how can you of course you have sex with your teacher. You're infatuated or you have a crush on your teacher because how else could you learn anything? So the Greek idea was a Roman citizen was absolute. He could kill his wife, kill his children. He usually got married, but he could have sex with boys. Teachers could have sex with them. That was the most common thing. But you couldn't penetrate because that would make someone unequal. And the penalty was death if you did. On the other hand, if you had sex with another male, that was considered, well, that's a nice thing to do. It's neither here nor there. It's not homosexual. Oh, God. Oh, now you're a homosexual for life. No. That was the Greek view. Now, the Roman view is different from that. The Roman view was you stick it anywhere you can. They said of Caesar, he was the wife of every husband and the husband of every wife. The Romans just stuck it everywhere. And again, they didn't think, oh, that's a man, that's a woman. No, they just said, if you're Roman and you got a dick, it should go in every hole that you can possibly put it. That's the Roman view of sexuality. And then when I was advisor to the Gay Student Union, and a student came to me who's about 25 years old, and he had a vagina. He looked like a male. Very nice man, I have to say. And he didn't look feminine. And he said, I don't know what to do. I think I'm pregnant and I'm homosexual. And he said, the doctor, when I was born, we were too poor. And usually in those days, they operated on you right away to make you a boy or girl. They asked the family what they wanted, and they made the person a boy or girl. Today, and then I saw a documentary about this, and they said, we don't do this anymore. We don't do this because people need to figure out, the adolescent should figure out what they are and go from there. We should not do anything at birth to children who are transsexual. You take the case of the Olympic star. I hate the Kardashians. I just hate them. But Mr. Kardashian, the great Olympic star, what is his name, became a woman. And people are asking him, well, do you like men now? And he says, you know what? That's none of your business. I don't know what I want. Jennifer, I think she's called, is it Jennifer? Jenny Kardashian. Bruce Jenner, I'm sorry, that's his name. Bruce Jenner is now Janice Jenner or something. I don't know. He's a woman now. And my answer to the question of is there inborn sexuality? Yes. Why is it that I see guys older online say, they're 18 years old and they want to get fucked. It took me 50 years to want to get fucked. I had to learn and use dildos, da, da, da. So it didn't come naturally to me, but to some men it does. So yes, there's some inborn, you know who you are. But I think this is my advice to this whole question. The person who, I once got in a debate about Michelangelo. Michelangelo never said he was gay, but he had a lover, they think. And then I was teaching Michelangelo in a team taught course, and someone says, well, the art teacher says, we were team teaching, says he's gay. And I said, but he never said he was gay. Shouldn't he be the one who defines who he is, not the art critics or the autobiographer? Shouldn't it be Michelangelo himself who defines his sexuality? And he defined it. He said, I'm not. The same thing with, I think Leonardo da Vinci did declare himself. So I think my answer to this question, which is a very difficult one, is that people should define themselves. The ultimate judge is the person themselves. Two things. One, about what their sexual identity is, whether male, female, transgendered, or whatever, bisexual. And you should respect bisexuality. If that's what a person says they are, they're the ultimate judge of who they are. Why should anybody else be judging this? And secondly, the culture is tremendously influential. I didn't come out till I was 35, 37 years old. And you say, how could you not know? Because the culture had that much influence on me to suppress and deny my own feelings. That's how successful culture is. So don't worry about culture repressing. It does a fabulous job. It did it to me till I was 37. And now I'm 77, so half of my life I've been gay, and I know who I am. But again, the person who should define my sexuality is me, not you. And I have to say we're doing a pretty good job of that. When you look at Silver Daddies and look at these profiles, people do a pretty good job of saying who they are sexually. But I think what I'm saying is that should be the final judge of our sexual identity. In America, I want to mention one thing that's really interesting that you don't hear much of anymore. Kinsey did a report, came out in 1950, and he had a scale. It was like 5, and he did some research, and he said, look, here's some of the data I remember. 16% of men say they've had sex with another man once. 20% say they've had it more than once. 50% say they've had sex. It's like 30% say they have as much sex with men as they do with women. And then 10% are exclusively, 15% are exclusively gay. So he made up this scale, and he did the research, and he presented that. And, he could have, I'm sure they've done more research since then. But what he tried to show is this whole idea, a homosexual is exclusive. They're only 5 to 10% of the population, and that's all there is. And Kinsey, back in 1950, the most advanced thought of 1950, says, no, the scale is much bigger than that. The experience of homosexuality in our culture is so much bigger than what we admit. And I don't know that research was ever followed up. But again, to answer the question, is homosexuality inborn? I think our sexuality is inborn. I really do. I had fantasies about being tied up and molested sexually when I was a kid. I don't think that's a homosexual or a heterosexual fantasy, but what I bring it up because it's inside of me. It was inside of me all my life. Is that a heterosexual thing or a homosexual thing? It isn't. It's a sexual thing, and it's inside me. So some of this stuff is inborn. Some of it is, I don't, you can say genetic. This is a mystery to us, but certainly to like Bruce Jenner and all the um, transsexuals say, I felt that I'm mistakenly a man when I should be a woman, and there's nothing that is more they're more convinced of, and I think Bruce Jenner is totally sincere and should be respected. So our time is up. Um, but I think I pretty much explored that question. It's a huge question. We will never. What I dislike about the American culture on this is they're so clear that if you're a homosexual, you're in this category and join the club and you're nothing else the rest of your life. That's just bullshit. That's just so wrong. It just goes against all the history of human culture. So that's my answer to that. But the other thing is, um, as Pascal, the great mathematician, said, the heart has reasons of which reason knows nothing. Listen to your heart and follow your heart. Okay, so if you want to respond to any of this stuff, it's Larry, Larry, dot Moorman, Moorman, at AOL.com. This is our first program where we are giving some kind of feedback on Larry Talks, and we're just trying out this methodology, and we hope to do more programs like this where to answer your questions and comments and get dialogue going about between real people about real issues, unlike our government right these days. Okay, that's it. See you next time. I still have pending out there a program on romance, and I intend to do it, but that's later. We'll see what the next program is. We don't know. Depends on what you tell me. And as I say, I have one ready to go on romance based on two sources. One is De Rogemont's Love in the Western World, history of literature and romantic literature. And the second book, which is a solution to romance, Martin Buber's wonderful poem called I and Thou. Okay, next time.